Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. We're back on this Wednesday evening with another massive show to bring you guys this evening. But before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching, and let's get straight on into it. So on the show this evening, we're going to be giving you a bit of an update on some proposed signings from Manchester United, with Michael Olise being apparently Manchester United's #1 target. Also talking a bit about Jean-Claire Todibo, a bit about Ederson, not obviously the Brazilian goalkeeper who plays for Man City, the Ederson CDM at Atalanta. And we'll also be looking at the potential loan offer for Timo Werner. Lots of other bits to get into as well on the show. There's so much news coming out around Manchester United at the moment. Obviously, the Jadon Sancho stuff. Yeah, there's so much going on. And there is actually some breaking news that's literally just come out in the last 30 seconds. This is coming from Plettigo on Twitter. Florian Pletterberg, Sky Sports journalist in Germany, reporting that Jadon Sancho and Dortmund have now reached an agreement for his return to the club on loan. It says the player is waiting for the final agreement between Manchester United and Dortmund to be confirmed. So it looks like this deal will happen. Yeah. Very, very interesting, that one. We spoke about it yesterday on the show. It got me pretty worked up, to be honest. I was quite annoyed, quite upset about this whole Jadon Sancho thing. I feel like we've been taken for a bunch of mugs, to be honest. So I'm just not going to leave that one for now. Before we get into more of the transfer stuff, I wanted to talk about one other thing as well quickly. Jim Ratcliffe was at Carrington today and had a meeting with Erik ten Hag. He also met the players for the first time. Hopefully this is the start of something positive. Hopefully this is the start of a bright future for Manchester United, you know. Yes, it wasn't the outcome that a lot of Manchester United fans wanted. I would say 99% of people I spoke to wanted the Glazers out and wanted Qatar to come in with 100% ownership. Obviously that hasn't happened. But all we can hope for now is that the Jim Ratcliffe plan works. You know, that he brings in the correct people, the Paul Mitchells, the Jean-Claude Blancs, the Dan Ashworths. Like, that's what we have to hope that's going to happen. But yeah, so from what I'm hearing today, it was the first meeting today between Jim Ratcliffe and Erik ten Hag. He also spoke to the players, he spoke to the staff. Hopefully this just brings a bit of confidence in the club going forward, you know. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'll say this, right? I don't think it can get any worse under Jim Ratcliffe personally. I think it will get better, but I'm not expecting us to be winning the league in the next year or 2 years, 3 years. I think it's still going to be a long old rebuild for this club that we all love. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section, actually. This is a really interesting point to discuss. How long do you think it will be before we win the Premier League again? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think that Jim Ratcliffe's going to come in and it's going to be instant success? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. For me personally, I would be shocked if we win the Premier League in the next 5 years. In the next 10 years, maybe. The next 5 to 10 years. But that's kind of my prediction at this point. But let's obviously wait and see what happens. You know, it's a very difficult one to predict. Right, let's talk a little bit about Michael Olise then. Obviously, right winger at Crystal Palace. And the headline is today that apparently Jim Ratcliffe wants to make Michael Olise his first major signing at Manchester United. And you know what? I would endorse this deal 100% for what it's worth. I think Michael Olise is a quality player. 22 years of age, has been playing incredibly for Crystal Palace again this season. Had a very good season last year as well. I remember him scoring that free kick against us to get Crystal Palace a draw, I think it was, last season. He's got 5 goals and 1 assist in 9 Premier League games this season. When you compare that with Anthony, who's got 0 goals and 0 assists in probably 20 plus. How many games has Anthony played this season? Let's have a look. So he's got 6 goals and assists in 9 matches, Michael Olise. Okay. Anthony has got 0 goals, 0 assists in 16 games. And that pretty much just says it all for me, really. Obviously, Michael Olise, French international. He was born in England. He was born in London, but it looks like he plays for the French under-21 side. So yeah, French international. He's just signed a new contract with Crystal Palace, and apparently there is a release clause for £60 million in that contract, which is only available in the summer. Obviously, we know that Man City were interested. I think Liverpool were also interested. There's going to be a lot of teams wanting to get this guy because he is a quality player. There's no doubt about that. How much do you guys think Michael Olise is worth? Let me know in the comments section. For me, I think 60 million seems fair. I think he's quality. Can play right foot, left foot. Is very skillful, very talented player. So yeah, for me, definitely 60 million for Olise would be a good bit of business. Let's have a look. Jamie in the chat is saying that he thinks it'll be 3 to 5 years before we win the Premier League. I mean, we can hope, innit? I would say 5 to 10, but obviously that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. So yeah, Michael Olise looks like he will be the big target that Manchester United go after. Now, just to be clear, this won't be in the January window. This will be in the summer. So I'll obviously keep you updated on that one as and when we get more information. But £60 million, that's what's being reported. He does have a release clause, which is available in this coming summer in June. So we'll keep you updated on that one. Let's move over to Timo Werner really quickly. So apparently Red Bull Leipzig have sanctioned a loan deal for Timo Werner to Manchester United. The story says Timo Werner has emerged as a serious target for Manchester United in this transfer window, as Red Bull Leipzig are set to sanction the loan deal. I don't really know what to say about Timo Werner, to be honest. Like, obviously his time at Chelsea didn't really go to plan, being completely honest with you, did it? He's gone back to Red Bull Leipzig and he hasn't really performed there either. He's only got 2 goals in 8 games in the Bundesliga. He's 27 years old now. I thought he was still young for some reason. He's 27 years old. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. It doesn't really excite me, to be honest. I'm not going to be, singing from the rooftops that we've signed Timo Werner, being completely honest with you. But we need more options in that attacking area. I mean, if you look at his stats from last season, yeah, he got 22 goals and assists in 40 matches. So he averaged a goal or an assist every other game. That's good. When you think that Antony has got 0 goals and assists this season, and Timo Werner got 22 last season. So I don't think we can really be in a position here to criticise these signings, because at the moment we've got Antony, who doesn't assist or score. You've got Rashford, who I think has got 1 goal in the Premier League, maybe 2 this season. You've got Højlund, who we just spent £60 million on and has scored 1 goal in 10 plus starts in the Premier League. You've got Martial, who's been ill for 4 weeks and is probably leaving. You've got Pellistri and Ahmad, who are kind of on the sidelines and have not really had an opportunity. Like, we don't have options in this attack, and Timo Werner is better than nothing. I'll say that. I'm not going to be really excited about it, but it does make sense when you think about it. Glenn says Werner is a good deal for now, in my opinion. I agree with you there, to be honest, mate. I think for the time being, it's about as best as we can get. Does it excite me? No. Is it a signing that I dream about? No. But will it help us in the second half of the season? I think it probably will. So you've just got to kind of roll with it, don't you? And wait and see what happens. The really key thing I think here for me personally is I like Erik ten Hag, but I wouldn't give him any money in January personally. I would wait until you've got Jean-Claude Blanc in, Paul Mitchell in, Dan Ashworth if he comes in. I would wait until you have that team and start planning for the summer. Now, I know some people will say, oh, that means you're writing off the season. We could still get top 4. I personally think the season is already written off, unless, one of the other teams really have a disaster second half of the season. I mean, at the moment, we're in 8th place. We are 9 points behind Arsenal, who are in 4th after 20 games. To make up 9 points is extremely difficult. Even if we were to win the next 10 games in a row, yeah, which was never going to happen. We'll probably win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, and that will be the rest of our season. Like, I just don't think we can get, up 9 points, especially when you've got Tottenham, who are 1 point behind Arsenal. You've got West Ham, who are in form. Like, I think if anything, we should be looking for 5th or 6th. Now, I know some people would say I'd rather not even have Europa. I just think that United need to be in some European competition. I know nobody wants to be in the Europa League, but realistically, what's the point in being in the Champions League at the moment? Answer me that. other than that the money that's involved with it, which I get is obviously a big thing, but from a footballing perspective, we're not good enough to compete in the Champions League. We don't deserve to be in the Champions League. So for me, Europa or Europa Conference League is probably as good as it gets. Benjamin says, are there no other options other than Werner? So the options instead of Werner are either Guirassy, but he's going to cost you 15 million. You've got obviously Timo Werner. We have Choupo-Moting from Bayern Munich, who I definitely don't want. I don't think he's very good at all. Like, those are the three options. It's either Choupo-Moting on loan, Guirassy, but you've got to pay his release clause, which is about £15 million, or Timo Werner on loan. Those are the three options in this window. Now, unless something crazy happens and a name that none of us are expecting happens, then that's what we're left with at the moment. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, guys. Out of those three players, who would you prefer to have? If you can only have one, would you prefer to have Guirassy, 15 million, release clause, Timo Werner on loan until the summer, or Choupo-Moting on loan until the summer? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. For me, I would probably go with Timo Werner because, as I said, I think we've got to wait and see what happens with Erik ten Hag, really. There is some breaking news that's just come out in the last 30 seconds that Manchester United have now extended Aaron Wan-Bissaka's contract by 12 months and are planning to open talks over a new deal before the end of the season. I think that's the correct decision, I do. There's obviously some question marks about Wan-Bissaka's attacking abilities, but I think defensively he is good, so I'm happy about that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think that's the correct decision to give Aaron Wan-Bissaka a new contract? Let me know your thoughts. Right, let's talk a little bit about Todibo quickly. So in relation to Todibo, the update today is that he is the number one target for Manchester United, but it doesn't look like United will be able to get him in January, unfortunately. We simply don't have the money. He's someone we're going to try and get in the summer window. So we'll wait and see what happens with that one. The same with this Ederson guy. Now, for anybody looking at the video title thinking, Man United linked to Ederson? Really? It's not the same Ederson. It's he plays for Atalanta. Manchester United and Barcelona are both apparently interested in signing him. 22 years of age, CDM, Brazilian, plays for Atalanta. He looks good. I've watched a couple of videos on him today. He looks decent. Do I think this transfer will happen? Probably not, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Let's see what people are saying in the chat this evening. Carl says Guirassy is 28 years old. Yeah, he is, yeah. Look, if we had a good amount of money, I would say, yeah, go and get Guirassy, go and get a few players, but we don't. It's all loans this window. Irvin says, Kieran, what do you think Jim Ratcliffe said to the players and to Erik ten Hag in the meeting? Do you think Jim was ruthless with them or that sneaky shit? Like, how are you guys and all that? I imagine it was probably pretty low key. I imagine, he was just introducing himself. I imagine that, well, we know, right, with Jim Ratcliffe that he's going to have an internal investigation into why we are where we are. So, yeah, I don't think anybody at Manchester United is safe, to be completely honest with you. I don't even think Marcus Rashford is safe. I don't think, Bruno Fernandes is safe. I think any of these players could be sold. I don't think any of them are untouchable. They all think they're untouchable, but they're not. They're simply not. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But let me know in the comment section, guys. Do you think anybody in the Manchester United squad is untouchable? And if so, who? For me, I'd probably say the younger players, like, the Kobe Mainus, the Garnachos. Like, I would definitely keep them at all costs. But the rest of them, I've said this to you on the show before. Like, I don't really have any emotional attachment to any of these players anymore. I like Kobe Mainu. I like Garnacho. I like Højlund somewhat. But the rest of them, the Maguires, the Lindelofs, McTominays, the Amrabats, Antonys, Rashfords, Brunos, like, they've all let us down countless times now, and I'm kind of done with them a little bit, to be honest. Like, I think most of them are disposable. I really, really do. And I know that sounds a little bit harsh, but that's kind of where I am at the moment. They've thrown so many managers under the bus, a lot of these players. And I think we do just need a whole restructure of the club from top to bottom. Fred says, are we losing Onana to the Africa Cup of Nations? So apparently Onana will be staying until the 15th of January. So he'll play against Wigan and he's going to play against Tottenham. You know what? I feel really, really sad for Altay Bayindir. I do. I feel like he's been completely taken for a mug. He's come to Manchester United and he's not had a single minute of game time. I feel bad for him. I do. But so, yeah, it looks like he won't get any game time. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think about that, though. I just think it's a little bit of an insult, to be completely honest with you. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Somebody says, Kieran, will you be sad if Rashford was sold in the summer? I would be a bit sad. Like, I like Rashford. You know, he's obviously born and bred Manchester. You know, he's a Manchester lad. All the rest of it. He was one of my favourite players for a long time. So obviously, I would be a bit sad. You know, it would feel like a bit of a shame. But if someone was going to offer us 70 to 100 million for Rashford, I think you have to take it personally. You know, if PSG come in for him in the summer and there's a genuine interest there, I would sell him personally. I would. I think that no player is bigger than the club. I get that, you know, he has this attachment to Manchester United. I get that he was a lot of people's favourite players for a while, but I just don't think he's good enough. Other than that, I don't think anybody has a divine right to, you know, to stay just because they're from Manchester. I don't believe in that, you know. But yeah, I would be a little bit sad, but at the same time, I'd probably get over it pretty quickly if we then went and spent that money on a better player, to be completely honest with you. Because as I said, I don't have much of an attachment to any of these people anymore. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I've gone for everything I planned for the show. Please do me a massive favour. Oh, not a massive favour. It's a small favour, really. Give the video a like before you go. Subscribe if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil. I'll speak to you all tomorrow morning. Have a good day, a good evening, everybody, and I'll speak to you all soon.